Hi, this is Dr. Gombele in another series of presentation on our health topics. Today we are on food. As you can see, like we are in a mini farmer's market. I have my gloves because some of those stuff still have the mods on them, just coming freshly from the Mother Earth. We are going to answer one of the most frequently asked questions by diabetics. What is there for me to eat? So to do that, I selected some food items that really will help to answer the questions. So as you know, we have to consume vegetable, protein, and starch. And most of the problems where diet, eating, food is concerned for diabetes patient is starch. Alright? So I selected some of the product, food item that a diabetic can consume without problem. But I choose those food with low glycemic index. I'm going to define what is glycemic index. It is nothing than the ability of the body to convert whatever you eat into sugar in the body. We spoke about that. That is glycemic index. It has three numbers, three categories. One is low. Glycemic index is low when the number is from 1 to 54. It is low. Good for diabetes patient because it doesn't convert rapidly to sugar in the body, and more likely it doesn't also spike the sugar in the body. It is low when the number is from 1 to 54. Glycemic index is medium when the number is from 55 to 69. And the glycemic index is high when the number of the food item is from 70 to 100. And of course, very, very high when it's above 100. Diabetes patients should consume low glycemic index food or very moderate medium glycemic index food. Again, glycemic index food is the ability of the body to convert all the starch that we eat into glucose. So all these, once consumed in the body, they just behave as sugar. So that's why we have to choose those that the body converts them very slowly. And I have selected some. These are the starch. And you know, today we consume more starch than anything else. Even though the Diabetes Association recommends that our consumption of starch, carbs, be 25% of the table, of the plate. So you have a plate, you divide the plate in two. The half vegetable, the other half you divide in two. One of the portion will be for protein and the other portion will be for carbs. Good carbs I'm talking now. This is green banana, right? This is peeled and put in the plastic. Careful because the glycemic index can be affected by what? By chemical that we put in the food, okay? So the green banana has a very low glycemic index of what? 30 to 50. Remember, 1 to 54 is low. So green banana is a very good food item for a diabetic. This is pumpkin from Mexico, originated from Mexico, from the highland of Oaxaca. I know, Mexico. So pumpkin is another food item that I have selected for diabetes patient. But here we have to be very careful how we consume pumpkin because the glycemic index is not low is 64. That means it's what? Medium. So we have to consume it very in moderation. All right? This is yam, right? From Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean. The glycemic index of yam varies between 54 to 69. Of course, you have yellow yam, you have soft yam, you have white yam. This is like white yam. So this also should be consumed carefully, because if you roast the yam, the glycemic index is 54. If you boil, the glycemic index jump to 74, make it high. And if you fry, the glycemic index get to 69. So it is suggested we consume what? Roasted yam, so that the glycemic index can be what? 54, low, so that you can consume. Another food item to consume in moderation. Cassava. In Jamaica we call it bami. This is a cassava, right? The glycemic index is what? 50. So it's a good food item for diabetic to consume. Originated from South America and Africa. In Africa they even eat the leaves, the cassava leaves, but you have to know which one to consume. I have heard people talking about plantain. Diabetes patients are not to consume plantain. Good news. Plantain has a low glycemic index of what? 45 to 54. This is low glycemic index. Plantain is a good food item for a diabetes patient. We are talking about what to eat and what not to eat. Eat this and not that. So we continue on bulgur rice. You have heard about the bulgur. This you can even make porridge out of it, right? The glycemic index is low. So those who can cook bulgur and consume it as a substitute of rice, great. Because the bulgur glycemic index is 48, and 48 falls within the range of the low food item of what? 1 to 54. You can even learn to make porridge out of bulgur. This is breadfruit. Breadfruit. Careful with breadfruit because glycemic index is medium, right? So those with medium glycemic index, we must be very careful how we consume them. We must consume them alone without any other type of starch, and one slice, right? Because the glycemic index is 68. If you consume too much, it can spike your blood sugar. But if you consume one slice or two slices, it will not, because it's medium, and we must consume breadfruit in moderation. We have quinoa. You must know about quinoa. Very good. From Bolivia and Peru, with a glycemic index of 53, which makes quinoa a very good substitute for rice. But people have an issue with quinoa because it can be very expensive. But bulgur rice, it is not. We have basmati rice. Alright? And this also goes with brown rice. But you must know to differentiate brown rice from the brown rice in the supermarket. Because sometimes they just take white rice with glycemic index of 80, that's very high, put in some brown substances, make it brown. The real brown rice, you have to go to food health store. That way you are going to ask and they will show it to you. But this is basmati rice from India. Glycemic index 50. And this is brown basmati rice. Very good for diabetes patient to consume. So basically, this is what I would suggest to you, my diabetes patient, to be consuming without problem, because all of them have what? Low glycemic index. Of course, portion becomes another issue here. Not too much. we must always use starch in moderation. I suggest you get a book. You may ask me, where did you get those glycemic index? This is what? Glycemic index and glycemic load counter by Dr. Winnie Chan. It has almost the glycemic index that we need to know in the food items that we consume. I'm inviting you, before we go, to like, to share, and importantly, to subscribe, so that when I upload my very next video, so that you can be informed by clicking on the button, right? So again, au revoir, bye bye, hasta pronto, tikala malamu, until in our next series of videos on our usual health presentation with Munganga, Dokotolo, Medico, Dr. Gombele. Bye bye.